Welcome back to SB Nation. I'm Amy K. Nelson. I'm here with Steven Goldman, and today we're talking Yankees, specifically the Ichiro Suzuki trade. Traded to the Yankees on Monday. What was your first reaction, Steven?
Shocked, because he's just such a big name and so iconic in Seattle. It's hard to think of him in another uniform.
How do you think his role will shape out with the Yankees moving ahead?
Well, it's very easy to be skeptical, Amy, because as I said, his best days are behind him. And the thing about Ichiro is that even when he was hitting 300, he wasn't necessarily as valuable as you would think because he didn't walk and he didn't hit for a lot of power. Now, every other year he would hit 350 or 372 and would be ridiculously valuable given the base running, the defense, and the overall package. But in those regular seasons, he was just okay for a corner outfielder.
Just okay?
Just okay. Well, because, you know, what matters in baseball is not just batting average, but,
sure,
you know, getting on base and slugging, and he didn't do those things at a really high clip in a lot of seasons. Now we're 3 years removed from that, or in the third season since he's really dropped down a level, and his on-base percentage last year and this year is well under 300. That's a difficult thing to sustain for a corner outfielder.
Now, a lot of people have been pointing to the fact that he was pretty much unhappy in Seattle. He asked for this trade. The Mariners were more than glad to move him along. But do you think that the psychology of this can have some sort of effect? He's going to be going to a winning team. He's out of Seattle after so many years. Could this possibly rejuvenate him? I know a lot of people hate even that terminology, right? But we've seen it happen with other players.
You hate to rule it out completely because, yes, you never know what can get a player locked in and trigger a hot streak, and suddenly the baseball is like a beach ball to them, and they're really playing really well. But again, the thing is the amount of time and how far he fell down. Even if you account for the fact that Safeco is a difficult park for everybody, and you look at just his road stats, I think it might be a question of just his overall style. He's a guy who slaps the ball, who needs to beat out a lot of grounders to keep that batting average up. And at 38, if you lose half a step, that's a big difference. That can have a huge impact on your overall production.
And certainly having trouble hitting lefties as well. How do you think this will impact the shape of the outfield? Who's going to play where, especially once Nick Swisher comes back?
Well, Nick Swisher is going to go to right field. He's an underrated, very productive player there. He's not pretty defensively, but he gets the job done. He's underrated in a way. His roots are somewhat like Columbus's or Magellan's, but he does generally catch things.
He's an explorer.
Exactly. Well, that seems to suit his personality, doesn't it? But Ichiro will go to left, where he hasn't played a lot, but he almost by just showing up has to be better than Raul Ibanez, who's just never been a good defender, and Andruw Jones, who it's hard to believe that he was the class of outfielders for so many years because his legs just seem to be gone right now.
Well, you lead me to a final point, and that's age. The Yankees have never really been known for being all that young.
No.
But they're old. Ichiro's 38. How do you think that will affect this team going to the postseason? It seems like we ask this question almost every season with the Yankees.
Well, it's not really a question for the age isn't a question for the postseason. The age is more of a long-term thing because as you get to the end of every year, you have to reevaluate and see how much longer can we stretch these old guys out.
But the defense?
Well, the defense, again, he has to help. I mean, when you face good offenses in October, and by definition, usually that's what you're doing, or those teams wouldn't be in the playoffs, you can't give them extra chances. Now, when we think of extra chances on defense, we usually talk about errors. But in this case, what we mean is just not giving them a bigger field to hit into. And the smaller your player's range, the bigger the field is. So if Ichiro can cut down on that and come in on a few balls that Ibanez and Andruw Jones couldn't, he'll have a little of what Brett Gardner gave them in left field the last couple of years, and that should help the pitching staff a great deal.
Bottom line, did you like this trade?
I think it's a trade of low expectations. Let's say that. The Yankees didn't put in a lot. They may not get a lot out of it. Shane Victorino is probably more vital right now. Justin Upton obviously has more potential and is only 24. They're going to get what they paid for most likely, but hey, maybe they'll catch a hot streak.
Okay, well, we want to know what you think. Let us know in the comments below. Was this a good trade for the Yankees? Will Ichiro have any sort of impact on this team? Tell us in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.